If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoy my main channel content, go to the link in the description to the Spidey Cat.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Game Dude Podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Spidey.
And we're back.
I'm along for the ride for this one.
Okay, once I gotta shut my computer off. I forgot to shut it off.
I'm along for the ride. I don't have any thing to really talk about on my part. Most of the stuff I want to talk about does not apply that I did want to talk about. Does not apply. The stuff I want to talk about, I wanted to save for my other stuff. So, the show that it's taken a month for me to make an episode in 2 months.
So basically, today, well, there's a couple things. This is what started getting me thinking about it. Was Dr. Lupo, the whole cheating scandal. I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna rehash the whole thing. Go look up Dr. Lupo right now. You'll see the whole story.
Yeah.
You don't need another person.
No, you don't.
Explaining it to you because, trust me,
it's
already been overcooked.
It's the same as every internet thing.
But that got me thinking, right? Like, because one thing I do think is that he's getting too much hate. Like, I understand.
Yeah.
Don't cheat. I love chess. Don't get me wrong. I really do.
It's just a game.
It is just a game. I understand people thinking it's more than a game to the top of the top, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. It is just a game at the end of the day.
Yes.
You can have your opinion on it, but that's just the truth.
It's a game just like everything else.
With that being said, I think people are being too harsh on the guy. And I'm not even the biggest fan of this guy. But this isn't what I want to get into. I'm just saying I'm in defense of the guy where it's like, we're going a little overboard on this dude.
Well, dude, that's the internet. It's called the internet.
Look, he lied. Don't pretend like you've never lied. Look, he cheated. Cheating, I do think there's people out there who could say they haven't cheated, but I've cheated. Tests, school.
Yeah.
I've cheated before. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm above the guy.
No.
Granted, there's a cash prize. It's more complicated than that. Yeah. I don't care. I do care there's a cash prize. I'm just saying, like, the guy's getting bashed enough as it is. He's getting beaten into the ground, and he already has a fragile ego, hence why he cheated in the first place. So I think a little more forgiveness is...
But you're telling a brick wall.
It's fine. I'm not saying people have to listen. I'm just saying I think that would make the world a little bit better of a place if we had a little bit more forgiveness in our hearts.
There's not going to be much, unfortunately. I wish so too, but
anyway, thinking about him, because he said the reason he cheated was basically he has a fragile ego. I believe that. I think that's a cool. I think not cool, but it's like he admitted that he has an issue. But that started making me think about like how I am.
I see.
Not that I'm the exact same to the point where I'm going to cheat to not lose, because I'm no foreign man to losing. It's what I do most of the time. Okay, so it's not like when I'm playing games, I'm like I gotta cheat. Like I'm not going to do that. No. It won't push me to do that because I love games too much, and I won't feel any satisfaction from cheating.
Cheaters are funny.
Yeah, they are.
There's a humor just watching. Some of my favorite things I watched on YouTube were just the cheaters getting exposed.
Dude, no
on
kidding, man.
Tournaments, in the middle of tournaments.
I know, it's
literally hilarious.
I personally understand, because even from a selfish standpoint, like if you were like, okay, well, I don't care how this affects others. Let's say that you even had that mindset. How would you get any relishment?
Yeah, because you're not doing
what
anything.
I would do, even from a selfish standpoint, I would still feel like a fraud to myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, oh, gosh, like, even though people think I'm winning and I'm the greatest at this, I'm not.
It's like all you're really doing is just... And it's not even fun because it's too easy. In my opinion, the difficulty is kind of... I mean, that's why I play games on harder modes, is because I'm just tired of playing something where I curb stomp things.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, so that's very good point.
Speedrunner cheaters, those guys are good too.
Yeah, it's funny because people are going to catch you, especially these days.
Oh yeah,
it's easier. It's getting easier and easier to tell. Don't get me wrong, I do think there's people out there who cheat just enough that are like really smart about it, where like it's hard to know either way.
You thinking some of them COD boys on the streams are doing that?
I don't know, because some of it is like they're just a lot better than you. I do believe that that's truth. I mean, they play all day. They get to play all day, every day. But that doesn't mean that I don't think some of them maybe are. But I'm not really saying any names out here. I know I have on the podcast before.
Yeah.
But that's when I was really into it, and I'm like, how are these guys so good? Like, I'm not saying I'm totally wrong, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm right because I don't have any proof.
But here's the thing, though. Obviously, everyone's going to play with...
It is different, though, when you play one thing all day, like, I'm comparing myself to people who play all day, every day, one game. Like, it's not really fair. Like, these guys have been playing their whole lives every day.
It's not fair, but it's also kind of like... You're telling me that on these matches of supposed pros, there's going to be guys who are like...
That gets a little fishy with the lobbies being
I've even
worse.
seen stuff where I'm like...
I'm just saying that, like, they are really good.
When a guy's running into a wall...
Yeah. They are... I agree. But, yeah, they are really good, though. That's all I'm going to say about that. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying... I have no proof either way. I'm just saying that they play all day, every day. I'm not going to be as good as them. Like... Unless I was just somehow naturally, amazingly talented at it or something, which I am not. Every ounce of COD skill I had to work my balls off for, and I'm still not that great.
Or depending on who it is, controller mods.
Yeah, they're losers. It's cheating. But
that's the acceptable way of cheating now.
No, it's not.
For some people, it is, sadly.
That's not except they're still cheating.
I'm saying more. Some people.
Yeah, they can say what they think. They're cheating. Like, they're cheaters.
No, I agree.
If I find out you use a controller mod, you're cheating. I don't care.
I'm not saying they aren't.
I know. I'm just saying out loud we're on a podcast to the audience. If you use a controller mod, you're cheating.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think in your head about everybody using it or not using it. You're cheating.
Agreed. But that's unfortunately the mentality.
Yeah, that got me heated for a sec. People who do it.
It's just like
because the people who cheat and try to justify it are the worst types of people because they're trying to make themselves feel good.
Like, dude, I feel good
while doing something they know is wrong, which is why they got to convince themselves it's okay. But all this being said is, I then started thinking about myself in the terms of like and I'm gonna be kind of like open and honest. I'm a bad loser. I'm better with it now than I used to be, but I'm still bad. Like, I'm bad. I'm better in the sense that I control my emotions after a loss. Like, sometimes I don't, though. So I'm not trying to... You, out of anybody... Like, my like people who are related to me in the closest know the most.
Yeah, we do.
Like, how much you've beat me in chess games, had me be mad, then I have to, like, apologize, and then learn from the loss, and then learn to just play. But there's two things that so what I'm trying to say is I have a fragile ego like Dr. Lupo does.
Yeah.
Like, I really do. Like, when it comes to me... competing, I'm very fragile.
Well, I'm not going to justify it or pat you on the back, but at least you don't resort to cheating.
That's patting. That is.
I guess I'm saying it in a different way. I'm saying it's just interesting. It's just interesting.
It's not about me being just like him. It's about me being able to understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate that because I know I wouldn't cheat. I'll take the loss, but I don't take it well.
No.
I don't like that. I don't think that's good. I think being a good loser is really important. And I think if you're going to be someone who's competing, like if you want... When I say competing, I mean like if I'm playing an online game or playing a board game against someone, I have to learn to like... I'm just very competitive especially when it comes to games. You can pick any kind, and I'm like...
Any kind.
Oh, I want my reaction speed to be better. I want my decision-making to be better. Like, I'm just like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also a wuss. Like where like I get hurt if I lose. I think it directly means that I'm worse than that person. Like it's almost like I think that as a person. I don't really think that, but it feels like that.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, I don't know why I'm like that. Like I don't know why. My first thought was that I care so much, but like if I cared about it so much, I'd play more. You know what I mean? It'd be like, okay, well then you'd play more. I actually, this is not, I'm not saying that everybody who's beaten me that is my phone? Oh, I just felt my couch vibrate. I was like, I'm not trying to say that everyone that that's beaten me, it hasn't counted. But I'll even find myself protecting my ego so much that I'll tell myself I won't try my hardest, even kind of, because then I'm like, well, I didn't really care that much. Like, I think a lot of people are like that, but
yeah,
I want to be a person who's like, I'm gonna try my hardest. I think I'd win things a lot more if I did, instead of trying to protect myself.
Trying to protect your.
I think most of the scenarios I'd probably still lose. But for example, I was just playing checkers with Dad, like our dad, on that like big tablet thing he got. We're playing checkers. I'm like kind of trying, kind of not, because I just don't want him. I don't want to think that he's better than me at these strategy games. So, but I'm like, then I start kind of losing. Then I'm saying, this game has no strategy. It's like garbage. Like then I'm dissing the game, which is like, that's not true. There's strategy in it.
Yeah, there is strategy in checkers.
Then I start kind of trying, then kind of losing, then not caring. Then he messes up. Then I start trying again. And then he technically won that round. He'll say that I beat him, but like, there were moves. There was like he basically would have won. He was just not wanting. I don't think it was because I was having an attitude, but I think he was like, this is going to take forever to win either way. So he was just kind of like, whatever.
Just kind of like whatever.
So I count that as a win for him. But then we played again because I was like mad. So we played again, and I beat him. But I was like, I'm going to focus my hardest on this. Like, I'm going to look at every move. I'm going to stay calm. And I won, like, fair and square that round. But that made me see, like, crap, I still have this thing where I'm, like, mad when I, like, I lose. Or when I'm losing. Like.
Yeah, I see it. Maybe it's an inferiority complex.
Yeah, dude, I don't know.
Maybe it is.
Honestly, it really could be. That's kind of why I'm talking about it, where it's like, I don't try to make this a therapy session.
Yeah, no.
But it's like, I really don't. And then I really don't understand, like, I don't understand. I hate that about myself. I really do.
Especially with Dad. And that's not me saying, like, it's like he's the least gamer out of anybody.
Yeah.
Like,
that probably doesn't help, where it's like, the thing is, Dad he has a strategic mind.
He does.
Like, we played Connect 4. I beat him one round. He beat me another round. But, like, he was like, I know Connect 4 is like a kid's game.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
strategy,
like pre-moving. He's like very smart of like blocking me like 2 moves ahead or making sure I don't have an option. Like, so to his credit, I'm not even upset losing. Like, he's very smart, intelligent in that way. He just is. Like, he has a strategical mind like that, where I think he'd be pretty good at chess if he actually tried.
He probably could.
Like, not that chess is the end all be all for that.
No, but
he's a good checkers player, and I don't think I'd beat him every time by any means if we kept playing.
Chess is kind of the modern strategical game.
Absolutely.
These days.
But my dad likes checkers. I was kind of dissing it. But I don't like that. That's an ugly thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's an ugly side of me.
I mean, everyone's got their
Usually
uglies.
It's there, and I just don't. I'm, like, better at just, like, curb it. I know everyone has their stuff. But I appreciate you comforting me. But it's, like, something that I want to not be there. So I've gotten better at controlling my anger and not being, like, mad. Because it's like, okay, you're being stupid, and I just kind of hold it, and then it goes away.
Yeah. You got to tell yourself that a lot.
But it came out that day. It came out that day. I know, like, we're fine. You know, I apologized.
Yeah.
I think I apologized. And then Matt, same with Matt. Like, it was more jokingly, but Matt's destroying us in this dart game we're playing. I mean, he also had some wine, and he's annihilating us.
Yeah.
I had zero wine.
He's
destroying us. He's so good at, like, some of this stuff. Like, he's just like,
yeah, he is.
His reaction, his hand-eye coordination with games is, like, really good.
It is.
So I beat him like a few times, and I'm not just saying it to be like, dude, I did beat him. One of the games, he was just kind of messing up because he had wine. And the other games, and I barely won. One game I threw because I was sober playing stupid. Like, it's just,
yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, anyway, the point is, there was a couple times where, like, Matt was trying to say, oh gosh, this, being humble.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was trying to be humble. He's just like a humble guy.
Yeah, he is.
And I was like, kind of like, okay, I don't want to hear, oh, yeah, you're having a real rough time. You're like, what? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Not that it feels good when someone's destroying you, saying they're not playing well.
Yeah.
And you know how that is.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's not saying anything about me. He's saying something about himself.
No.
I don't need to take that personally.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I got kind of irritated with that too. All those being examples of I hate that about myself. Like one thing, yeah, I don't like it. And I hate, I'm not saying this defines me. But I started thinking, like, I think that sometimes I avoid playing video games because I don't think I can handle losing that day. Like, it's just a game.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the line.
There's nothing on the line. Literally nothing.
It's like it shouldn't affect me, but it does.
It's not like you're getting picked for a job. Not that it should affect you that point.
I'm just saying that logically, I know that it shouldn't matter. Like, I know that it doesn't make any sense to be this upset about this kind of stuff. I know that. Like, I'm not an idiot. But yet I still do it. So it's really strange. It's really ingrained in me, I think. And it depends. It's not always bad. Like some days I really don't care. I'm just having fun, and I'm just having fun. But
it's just I mean, it's like I said. It's here's the thing. I feel like people just have egos. Everyone does.
I do too.
Everyone has an ego, and it's like it's just funny. It's like for what?
Of course. Yeah.
For what?
It really is. It really is for what?
I start to think in my head.
Most of the time, it's stuff that's like not really high stakes, not really on the line. Like nothing's really on the line.
What do you really
like? And it's almost even more pathetic for someone who's just like, I'm playing on my games at my home.
Yeah, it's like
you know what I mean.
It's like
pathetic's like harsh, but you know what I'm saying. I don't actually think I'm pathetic, but a little bit.
Well, if you're pathetic, then in my opinion, a lot of people are pathetic.
Then maybe they are. I guess.
Like I think humans are pathetic.
Yeah, that's not. I know. I understand. I'm talking about me though. Like with. What's the game that you cared about being good at? Ever? Have you ever had one? That was one of the questions I was going to ask you.
Have I ever had a game
like where you were like, I want to be really good at this?
Never enough. Honestly, I never did because I just never had I never had an interest, to be honest. Like maybe chess for a bit. I did.
Yeah.
I had a phase, and I just kind of got to a point where I was just like, eh.
So when you had a phase with chess, like were you mad when you lost at all? Like even a little bit?
Maybe a little bit, but not like enough to be like, oh.
Oh, I don't think it's anywhere near what I feel. Like what
I never.
Like the level I'm talking about.
I'm
just asking if there's like a tinge.
I was kind of like, dang, I had a little bit.
So
of
when
anger.
you're upset, what would you do? Would you just like keep playing, and be like whatever? Like,
yep.
Did you just get over it really fast?
I just kept playing for the entire day.
But like, was it hard to get over? Or what?
Hard to get over? No. Weirdly enough, it wasn't. Maybe
I'm listening.
Maybe there's a little bit. I think it scared me out of 30-minute chess for a while. I think it did. Because I just was tired of sitting there for 30 minutes only to lose. I think that might have been That might have been something.
That makes sense. Okay,
but I'd like to get back into
like I said, I'm not saying we're on the same level.
I'd like to get back to it.
I'm trying to see if we can relate here. If you got any good advice, this is really.
I guess my advice is just
not that you don't have to have advice.
Do it.
I'm just saying like.
I just but I never cared enough to like chat people or anything. Like I just kind of most of the time it was people getting mad with me.
I know. I understand. Yeah, I remember there were some funny.
Yeah, there were some funny moments where guys were.
I'm sure you're fun at parties.
He's like, "You're fun at parties." I'm like, "Dude, I won.
Hilarious.
I outsmarted you at this moment, dude. What did you think I would do?
Yeah.
It's. Am I gonna lose?
It's not even like you're bragging. It's not
no
like a bragging thing.
I was just like, dude, it's over, bro. I didn't even say anything.
No, I know it was pretty funny though. So I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't.
So you did have a moment though where you were like, oh, like I'm kind of playing all this just to lose, like whatever.
It's like, yeah, whatever.
And then did you just like take a break or what?
I just I haven't done 30-minute chess in a long time.
Oh, he just didn't do 30-minute chess.
Yeah, I just did 5-minute chess instead. I liked it being quicker.
Yeah, but like maybe it's just a game you don't like as much.
And
I could see like wanting to play shorter chess because people make mistakes more.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
And there's
time wins.
There's like time wins.
It was kind of fun abusing the clock. But to be honest, that's not, in my eyes, it is chess, but it's not really, in my opinion. It is, but if you think of the traditional
chess,
they didn't sit there for 5 minutes. And to be honest, it is funner doing a 30-minute game because it usually ends up just being a 10-minute game. What's nice about the 30-minute or a 1-second game, depending on how bad you did, or a 10-second game, you don't really need a heavy time. You don't need a short time increment. I mean, think about what pros do now. They do 1-minute chess.
No, I know. There's bullet. Crazy stuff.
I couldn't do bullet. Bullet was too much for me.
Yeah, they do crazy stuff on there.
I was not a fan of it.
Gosh, this is so much vibration. Okay, I'm shutting that off. Yeah, that's insane. But I mean, that's for like really, really good people.
Yeah. It was 1-minute chess got boring. That was probably the one time. Then I was just kind of like,
Okay, so that was an example, and you did get a little bit of anger, but it sounds like you just kind of easily brushed past it.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even about you being mad. This is the thing. Just because somebody stops playing something doesn't mean I think they like back down. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like if you're truly like, not only am I not having fun, but I'm also losing, like there's no point in playing something.
But then I almost got to the point where I miss it these days. I kind of miss it because it was just nice not to be like having to look at the clock all the time. It just felt
like that's mainly what I played.
Here's what's weird. It felt slimy, to be honest, with the whole clock stuff.
Yeah. The thing is,
I'm not gonna lie,
the clock becomes more relevant when you're a lot better. Because then people aren't making as many mistakes. In lower ranks, playing the clock is viable because they're gonna mess up.
Yes.
Like so if you move kind of fast and they don't catch your moves, you're safe. As you get higher, the clock people are not going to mess up, and that's when it's like, oh gosh, like that's when it gets really fun and crazy. I think
that's
But I've never said you're not going back. Like I'm not talking in absolutes.
No,
I'm just saying that like for me, I've been playing. I haven't really been playing much. I've been playing my iPad a lot, which is crazy, but. When I play like Call of Duty, now I just play for fun. But there was a while where I'd play, and if I'm doing bad, my day would suck afterwards.
It was basically your game for a month.
But it being my game shouldn't matter.
Yeah,
like that does not matter.
No, that's what I'm saying. I agree with you.
Like so, for me, if I'm deciding I want to try to be good at something, I'm like get more mad if I lose. So I'm playing the Pokemon card game, like the Pokemon TCG. The other night I was on fire. Like my strategies were locked in. I was like making really good plays. I was coming from behind. Today, I still won some, but like I was losing more, and then I started getting mad because today I was like I'm gonna grind and like rank up because there's like a ranked mode. I'm gonna rank up, start losing, and then I get mad, and it's like okay, well, then you start playing worse. Yep. Then I'm like I'm making mistakes. I probably lost like 3 games where I missed something or like conceded too fast once, which is like just embarrassing. That's just like you just rage quit. The person made a mistake that let me win, but if I would have waited, I could have won.
It reminds me.
It's not about like losing. It's about like the fact that I'm mad when I lose, because realistically, card games have a lot of luck.
Oh yeah,
or I should say variance.
A lot of it is not. You're right. It is variance.
Yeah,
it is.
There's a lot of variance in card games. It's like poker, kind of, where it's like you don't know what cards you're gonna get. All you can do is with like the best of what you have. Like
whatever.
Sometimes you're just gonna lose and you had no chance.
Oh
like,
yeah, dude.
That's how card games are.
The amount of variations is like nuts in card games, just like chess.
So you have to be like okay, like. What I should be like is like okay, like it's not a big deal. Like I'm not gonna win every time. Like it's just not possible. That's if I'm playing perfect the whole time. Which the other day I'm not bragging, but like it's clear what moves. It's not like it's not a super hard card game. Like, but anyway,
I did have one time where I was There's one guy at my church who kept destroying me in chess. I was doing horrible against him. And I was a little like, great, I get to play this game and suck really bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I think Graham beat him.
Interesting.
Yeah, he did.
Graham's good at chess?
Yeah, believe it or not, he is.
That's awesome.
And that's good for him. but I was like, dang, I suck. That's what I thought at the time.
Okay.
I'm saying it was the right thought.
No, I know. Well, maybe you do suck.
Yeah, and that's
like
okay.
I don't mean that harshly. Like I suck at chess.
That's okay.
I'm terrible.
The thing is, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, but you having the thought of you suck isn't necessarily.
No, that's not necessarily.
People
a bad
take
thing.
that so negatively, where it's like, suck. Maybe you don't have to use the word suck, but like
you have to be
people
honest.
think being bad at something is so, and that includes me. That like being bad at something is so bad.
Yeah, it's like,
dude, you don't have to be.
No, you don't.
So like worried about being bad at something.
No, you don't have to be.
Everyone starts out bad.
Yeah, you don't also have to be good at something either.
You also don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. So I was trying to get to like I want to get to a high rank this season, and I think I can, but my worst enemy is me. The only thing that's going to stop me is me being like, I can't handle losing. I can't handle losing. I can't handle losing. I can't handle losing. Like, the amount of stuff that I think this has stopped me from doing game-wise, or like enjoying myself, like in enjoyment matter, is like crazy. Where it's like, I'm 34. I shouldn't be caring about if I'm losing sometimes in a card game. And if I'm losing, just be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, could have done this better. And like move. People who are good at losing, that improves so fast.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean good at losing being like, okay, I lost. What could I have done better? Like, that's a super good like that's just a super good attitude to have.
Well, that's what it kind of turned into. Those games kind of just slowly turned into, you know what? I like chess, but do I really care about it that much? I kind of reached a point where I was like, do I actually care enough to actually prepare for games and stuff?
Exactly.
Learn lines. I'm like, not really.
100%.
I just do it for fun. I don't even care.
And that's a good attitude to have. I'm talking from a perspective of I want to rank up. I want to do better.
Yeah.
But you could do that and not be mad.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Have to be.
I was thinking about it today as I'm playing. I'm like, I'm going to talk to Seth about this because I'm like, I'm just a fragile dude. I hate losing. I literally hate it. The sad part is when you're trying to get good at something, you're going to be doing that most of the time.
Basically, 90% of the time, you're going to be terrible.
A ton of the time, you're going to be like losing, especially at a card game. Like I'm going to lose a lot before getting.
I bring it up all the time, but with drawing, I mean, dude, I hated drawing so much.
I was going to bring that up
because I was sick.
I thought that was more relatable to the games than the.
Because I was constantly being told that, like, oh, your drawings are bad. I'm like, they're terrible. And then I finally just kept doing it and got to a point where I was satisfied.
People told you your drawings are bad?
Back when I drew on paper, and I don't blame them. I didn't care. I didn't apply myself. I was like, these are terrible. How are these considered good?
But you could have been saying these are good for me.
Yeah.
And that's different.
Well, the thing is, I didn't put time into it. When I finally started putting time into it, I got decent. I was able to mimic.
So you were being told in person that you weren't doing good, and you still kept going.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I liked drawing. I wanted to get to a point where I could mimic people. I never wanted. See, everyone else wanted to do like, oh, I want to draw my own characters and blah, blah, blah. Everyone had these aspirations. I just admired what I was watching and wanted to see if I could, how close I could get to it. That's part of why I liked drawing. I didn't care about building, like I'd thought about doing animations, but those are pains in the rear. Those are worse than any. Yeah. Animation is some of the worst.
You did some of them.
I did.
You made some.
I made some, but those were just like,
they're funny.
Not what I wanted to truly make, though. They were not they were not. I didn't want amazing.
It's not like what you envisioned.
Yeah, it's not what I envisioned. I was just kind of like, but as I started drawing, I was like, I kind of like this. I like trying my best at it, and if it's bad, whatever. If it's bad, if it's not the best, you're not always going to hit. But I'm going to try my best to mimic stuff. And my brother Matt saved my drawing hobbies. He's the one who saved them. He saved drawing for me.
What? How so?
He just said, you know what? I was going through a particular rough period in life, so he was just kind of like, hey, why don't we try to draw stuff? I'm like, okay. So I just started doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it more.
Just doing it together.
More.
Those little competitions you guys did.
And then slowly it became...
Not really competitions, but challenges for yourself.
Slowly it became... I evolved to get, like, challenges even on my own. I got to a point where I was, like, doing it on my own, where I was looking at pictures and I was like... And, dude, looking at some of the earlier art is so funny. It's so funny looking at it. And it was never, like... Especially the tablet helps. Tablets save drawing for me. That's what really saved drawing for me, was tablets, because... They take out so much of the... I mean, why do you think most animated series are digital now? Because you don't have to keep erasing and erasing and erasing.
Yeah, digital's awesome. Digital's awesome.
The thing with... But people always think, oh, it's just because, this is... people don't understand the full reason why it's easier to do. It's not just because this or that. It's like, it's not just because, oh, dude, it's genuinely... Part of it is because it is easier to do. But it's also easier to undo. When you're drawing regularly, it's like you have to erase it with an eraser.
Very, very
get
true.
another piece of paper. Like, it's... People don't understand that's why animators don't do it either.
Just because you have easier tools to use, you could... Trust me, as someone who's done it, you could still draw garbo stuff on digital art.
You can.
You're still bad if you don't practice on digital art.
You have to sit there and do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. And I finally sat down and slapped myself in the face enough times, and I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Okay, well,
I'm doing it.
That's cool.
I said, you know what? I'm going to reach the level I want to reach. I had high aspirations for myself at first, and then they dropped lower and lower, and I was like, you know what? I'm cool with being where I'm at.
That's awesome.
There was a point where I reached where I was like, I like where I'm at. I can draw Justice League Batman. I can draw X-Men Evolution Wolverine. Is he going to look exact? No. I'm not Bruce Timm. But the thing is, he looks like Justice League Batman.
Yeah,
and that's all I wanted.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's all I wanted.
Okay, well, yeah. I don't know why... I've had a temper at things for a long time in my life, with like not being good at stuff too, which also comes into play of like I want to be good at something, and then I the amount, and even in a deeper issue, the amount of things I've probably stopped doing that I maybe liked because I sucked at it is I don't even because I've done it so often, I don't even really know what I like what I would like.
Yeah.
Like if someone said, "What are your hobbies?" I have zero besides
video games.
Video games. Which I'm not saying that you have to have
no.
more. I'm just saying that like
in some ways it's better to not have so many hobbies.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But I'm saying like I've been shutting stuff down based on
been like, "Oh, this is terrible." Well, dude,
like I have like 3 different instruments and I'm like, "Oh, like I don't really feel like practicing and getting through it." Or skateboarding is one of the only things that I was like kind of bad at. I had no natural talent at skateboarding besides being able to stay on it, and it's the only thing I pushed through to actually like learn some stuff, kind of haphazardly. But
it was kind of like drawing. Your skateboarding was my drawing, where I
kind of. Well, I literally just like I just was having fun. Like obviously I wanted to be good at it, so there were times where I would get really mad, but because I kind of I don't know why. I just kind of pushed. It got me outside. Like, I just kind of pushed through it. I'm just trying to remember as I'm going. I kind of pushed through being bad, and then eventually you just kind of stop being mad that you're bad.
Yeah, you do.
And you're just like, oh, like, whatever. Like, I'm just doing this for... I'm still having fun.
You just kind of reach a point where you're like...
But skateboarding is, like, it's a fun activity... kind of, even if you're not very good. Like, people can have fun skateboarding.
Now, I never did it out of fear for my own safety.
Yeah, and I don't think everybody should.
No.
I'm definitely not advising
if you're genuinely bad, like actually so bad you can't even...
Yeah.
And you keep bailing. Like, there's a point where you're like...
I totally agree. I'm not saying it's for everybody.
If you're good, if you actually can pick up on it, I'm not saying you were like perfect, but I'm saying you at least picked up on it.
The only thing I had was it took so long. The only thing, and I still was pretty bad at doing like flat ground tricks. The really thing I really liked was vert, but anyway, I'm not trying to get too much into
insane.
it. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't good, but I could ride them, and that was good, fun enough for me. And then I just rode them because they were fun, and then eventually I started throwing some tricks in, like, while I was doing it.
It's you start, and the thing is, you also started within your limits. You knew your limitations.
Well, part of it is because you have to, because I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
So it was like I wasn't gonna do stuff that I didn't fully understand.
But some people are just like,
I know they do
leap into it, and it's like
I'm not wired that way when it comes to me getting hurt. Especially the older I get, I'm sticking with what I know, and then if I get really comfortable with that so much that I feel like I can move forward, then I might.
Well, that's something I think is a good lesson for anybody. I don't care what it is. You kind of got to start small, folks.
And I don't. You do. I don't skateboard anymore. Like I don't. I was like trying to scooter again for a little bit to try it because it was new, and it was fun, but like. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I am that way. Like I don't. Like I think it's kind of normal to want to be good at stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is very normal.
But it's like, it's also kind of normal to not want to put the work in to actually be good.
Well, yeah, that is the most normal thing.
So I'm kind of like, it feels like I'm just spinning my wheels of like in the same spot with not in life, just with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know why I'm that way. Like I do think it's pretty normal to be, like, not wanting to put the work into to actually be good. Where people are like, "Hey, you're pretty good." Like even that takes a lot of work.
Oh yes.
Like, work is in like just spending like, "Hey, what can I do better?" Like being okay with losing is huge.
Being okay with losing.
And this isn't like an end all be all. I need the answer today.
No,
I just felt like it kind of relates to with Dr. Lupo, where it's like that's kind of a big thing right now, and that's an ego thing. I'm not saying everybody has egos. Not everybody has fragile egos. Though.
No, not everyone has fragile ones, but both are bad.
Yeah, egotistical in the sense of pride. Yeah.
You gotta be humble, folks.
But. Yeah, I don't know. I just was like, when I was talking about him and being subtle about it, then I started thinking like, or I was trying to be kind to him. Like the thought of being like, dude, everybody messes up. And I think that's true.
Yeah.
But then with myself, I was like, well, I have that, though. I wouldn't cheat, but mine's still not good. Like getting mad, even if I hold it in, that still feels bad for me. Like, I don't want to be mad at a situation like a baby. It's like, dude, why are you baby raging against?
Yeah, it's like, dude.
So
it's not like you screwed up on a job, like you screwed up at work or anything.
If like Matt was like, "Hey, let's play chess against each other," I'd probably be like, it depends on the day, but I'd probably be like, okay. But depending on how fragile my ego feels that day, I might be like, no, because I can't handle losing to someone I know. Like,
it's
I'm like, great, now I got to see you. Like online, I lose. I don't have to think about that person again.
Yeah, when you over the board stuff is pretty tough. It's pretty scary.
I know. Yeah,
it's pretty
crazy.
Scary. I'm not gonna lie. Even without the whole
even if you're like, if I was at a competition face to face with someone, it's the same. It'd be the same.
It's
thing.
like sweat inducing because it's scary. Because then
it's like I'm like opening myself up to like I think I put too much weight on the victory of like what that says about me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, if I lose...
Well, it's like, is being good at chess really this important? Or is being good at this thing?
Yeah, yes. And it's not important. It's not important, but for some reason I tie value to it, about myself. I don't even know where that came from.
I don't know.
So like when you were drawing and somebody was like, "This is bad," did you feel bad about yourself?
Oh yeah, dude, I was upset, really upset.
So did you attach it to your value?
Yeah, which was stupid.
Okay,
to be honest, it was dumb because it's like, what's the point?
I get that, but what? So you just thought, what's the point? Then you just stopped worrying about it.
I just stopped. What I thought was, well,
because it's a longer journey than you just in one day being like, I don't care.
I guess what I was saying is, at the beginning, when I started finally getting at least decent at it to the point where. And a little before that, when I was like way below decent when I started, I thought they were trash anyway. I thought my drawings were trash anyway. I was like, these are terrible. That kind of helped me with improving. Was that like that
you were like, oh, these are bad.
I just admitted, yeah, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this.
Yeah,
that
maybe.
Was,
yeah.
I was like, I am not good at this, but you know what? What the heck? So I started doing it, and then, I was getting upset at first for a bit, but then I was like, why, I'm never going to do this. And sometimes, art is subjective in some ways.
It is.
In some ways.
And
depending
on what you're talking about.
Not everybody is going to like what you drew. Okay? That's just a fact. Not everyone's going to receive it well. Not everyone's going to receive... Even people you care about will not necessarily like what you've drawn. They won't necessarily think it's good. But for me, I was like, but I drew it, and I'm proud of it. So why am I constantly thinking about how bad, like...
This is good.
This has killed projects. Good. This has killed projects for me, dude.
Yeah,
Hundreds of projects.
It's killed so many things for me, too.
It's killed it because I just think, what's the point if this thing sucks? And it's like, but that is the point. That is the point.
Dude, when you're saying this, the amount of games I'm thinking about that I may have enjoyed and just stopped playing because I'm bad at it and can't handle being bad at it, is the root of it is that I can't handle being bad at it because it makes me feel like I'm bad.
I also
it's not like, hey, I'm bad at this game. It's like, I suck at everything. Like, I always go to, like, this extreme... instead of it just being a matter of, like, the game, it's a matter of, like...
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is me. This is who I am.
Yes! It goes beyond the game, and then I start thinking, like, well, I just suck. Instead of being like, man, I suck at this.
Yeah, it's like you need to.
I'm like, I suck.
You need to do what I did when I was.
And I know that that's stupid. It makes no sense, and it's not true. But I still feel it.
You need to do what I did when I was drawing, where you're just like, I am absolutely awful. I am so bad at this.
Yeah.
I am so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I am so terrible that, like, I will watch these YouTubers, watch my siblings all outclass me every second of the day. And you know what? I was like, that is perfectly fine. I just said to myself, that's okay. My early drawings, I'm not going to lie to you, even drawings I thought looked good, I now see as terrible. Some of them. Yeah. But some of them I'm like,
That's a really good point,
some of them I'm still like, I'm going to defend these. Because some of them I'm like, because I think now... The Iron Man drawing, I think that is the worst drawing I've actually ever done, to be honest. I firmly think that I was so like, dude, this helmet looks great.
Yeah.
So I took a realistic body, which I am not, obviously I would not be able to draw it. I took a photorealistic body and stuck a cartoony head on it.
Yeah.
I took the cartoon's head and my poor attempt at a realistic body and combine them together when I could have just drawn the animated version of the character.
Yeah, true.
Instead of being like, dude, I really have to go for this.
True.
It's like, you kind of aimed a
That's
little
a good point.
too high there, buddy. And I was like, this is bad.
So it's, okay.
My Venom drawing, awful. Hate that.
So it sounds like you were like, you just admitted yourself the reality of the situation.
I was just, I
Because that almost puts you... It's almost like... That's making me think like, okay, I'm expecting me to be at a certain level, which I'm obviously not going to be there because it's way too high, which then makes me mad and feel bad about myself. But it's like, really, you're here.
Yes.
So you shouldn't really be mad.
Yes.
Like, if I lose to Matt in chess, I shouldn't be mad.
No, dude,
he's played more than me. He's done more puzzles than me. It's like... It's like that doesn't mean that I can't be there.
No.
That just means that
not at all.
You didn't put any of the work in to be there.
No.
Like,
and you didn't even try. That's the thing you got to remember.
And then I'm also sometimes not even trying as hard as I can because I'm afraid to lose, and I'm afraid to give it my all and lose because that feels really bad for me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wow, I suck at everything. but I know that's not true.
No.
And I know that that's not
the
reality. So that's an interesting perspective of you just being like, well, actually, what really helped me was I just admitted, like, yeah, I'm bad.
I just admitted. I even was like, I thought about the drawing tablet thing because I was like, everyone was telling me, dude, use a tablet. Like, why are you doing this? They would tell me that repeatedly, and I was like, I like drawing on paper. And then now I'm just like, I can never go back to paper. I did it. I am better at drawing on paper, but I'm sorry.
You think so?
Than I was, yeah.
Oh.
Way better than I was.
Okay, I thought you meant than the tablet.
No, not even
oh my
close.
Gosh.
Not even close. I'm not going to be that arrogant.
I was like, you must have improved
that's
a lot.
No, that's egotism at its highest.
No, okay, I understand what you're saying, but I'm very curious about your thought process behind this stuff.
Not
so much the drawing.
It's the same. I was just kind of like,
because that is like I don't know why I can't get there.
When I stopped treating it like it was the most important thing in my life, I just kind of did it.
Because I try to, like, with the being competitive and, like, getting mad, my first thought was like, just ignore it when it happens. But, like, that's not really. Sometimes I think ignoring things is the right answer.
It can be,
but sometimes it just feels like I'm just building up anger.
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, you got to work through this. Like,
well.
You got to actually stop being mad.
Also, you have to think about the fact that, first off...
Because I'll sit here and I'll be calm. Let's say, not even today, but, like, if I'm playing a game for a while, and I'm, like, losing, I'm like, okay, just breathe. Then it gets to a point where I rage out sometimes completely, where I'm, like, punching my desk, blah, 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 which no one should be punching anything.
No.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So then it's like, that doesn't happen every time, but sometimes then it just feels like, okay, well, I wasn't really dealing with the anger. I was just pushing it down.
Yeah, you're just pushing it down.
And then it bursts out, like, at a certain point.
You're pushing it down, and then it's like, I didn't push it down. I know
that you didn't.
I just admitted, you suck so bad.
Yeah.
You are so bad.
How did you not put that towards yourself? Like, what made you make it so you didn't
Because
say that
I
you
knew
suck?
I wasn't trying. I was like, I just didn't have a heart for it. Okay. I wasn't trying, and I admitted it. I finally admitted, you weren't trying that hard, dude. You can say you were trying. You could say, oh, why do people not like this? But you weren't trying that hard. You didn't achieve much. I mean, it's like you're walking outside. It's like today. It's like if I said I was, like, following my journal goals and I didn't walk outside today. It's like, well, no, you didn't. You just skipped a day. Or you did this. You didn't get the amount of days. It's like, really, you didn't really, in the harsh words, I like this clip. It doesn't apply to the situation, but there is a clip where Mr. Gordon Ramsay, Mr. Meme Extraordinaire, he said, you don't look like you'd achieve much. And that's how I felt about myself. I was like, you don't look like you'd achieve much. And that's because I didn't walk outside and I didn't sit down and put pen to paper. Instead, I was like, I'll just do something else or whatever. I chose the lazy way out, which was to just draw and not really. And then I was finally like, you know what? And I drew for fun. I didn't think about anatomy. I didn't think about how things were done. I didn't think about methods. I didn't think about this. I didn't think about that. Now, some things, you do have to have assists.
Yeah.
Like some things you do. Some things, like, same with game development. I'm too arrogant to take the assists that I have with that, where I'm like, oh, I need to do this and this and this. It's like, dude, if you just want to make a story game, just use a simple engine. That's what I always come to the conclusion of. Why am I constantly thinking, but I need to do this and this and this and this.
I don't know how to bring up your game because you haven't completed a game like ever.
And the reason why I never did was because every time I bought engines that do everything for me. Everything.
I'm just saying that the amount of time I should have brought that up in the first place.
Yeah,
because you've been talking about making a game.
Yes,
for like
decades,
10 years.
For decades, and that's because I was too.
Maybe a little longer.
Maybe longer. It's because I was too.
And you've been switching, saying you don't want to make a game, you just want to mod.
Yeah.
Then going
well,
back,
thankfully, I gave up
Halo
mods
stuff
permanently.
Yeah, but I remember you were like, I'm just going to Halo mod.
For so long, I talked about that.
That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
you were like, I'm not making a game anymore. I just want to do this. This is what I like. And now you're back on.
Yeah.
So what's the flip-flop? That's a perfect.
The flip-flop was Halo modding was fun because it was easy, and that's just the truth. And then also, I just liked Halo. I was just a nerd for Halo. But then I started to get to a point where I was like, as much as I like this, it's kind of a sinking ship. I mean, at some point, those devs may switch and then get mad at modders and start shutting down projects and all that. I kind of saw I kind of saw a point. It wasn't even just originality. It was kind of concern where I was like, so I make this thing and they destroy it because they're mad that I did this. And I can't really fight against companies. I have no grounds at all. They'll basically shut it down. If they don't like what I put in there, they'll be like, oh, you put this in Halo? Well, we're going to take it away. So, bye. Or a new company will show up and take away the mod tools, and then I'll have to get them through different methods.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, and that was my fear. That is why mods kind of died, was because I was like, and it's just, Halo's engine is just bonkers, dude. It is the most annoying engine I've ever dealt with.
Yeah, but I'm more so like, okay, so why do you keep flip-flopping, for starters?
The reason why I flip-flopped even more then was because of the fact that I don't know. I thought,
Like, did you think it was too hard?
Partially, but it was also fear. Fear that the reason why I went back to game dev was because I was afraid. Afraid of being taken down, of it being, erased from history, and I don't want that. I'm not saying I want this game to be like, oh, history defining.
Yeah, but you're saying that, like, you don't want to put all this work in for nothing.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, and it's like, why put my work in when I'm not only not making something original, I'm also not going to be able to even keep it.
Yeah.
Like, if I make the game, it's the game I made. I made it. If I want to add something, the company can't just say, hey, that's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Get it out. They can just tell me, hey, instead of worrying, oh, did I mod Arkham Asylum, and then Warner Brothers is going to come and, like, send their ninjas to assassinate me?
Well, I'm more talking about you making your own game.
Yeah, the reason...
that's what you're saying. That's why you went back to game
That's
dev.
part of why I went back to it, because I was like, do I really want to think of a day when they come down, smack my project down, punch me in the face, and then like hold me up and shake me around?
Yeah, which
like
if something came of it, they would.
And that's the sad part is those guys, those modders, they're doing it. I mean, I love them. But unless you're doing Bethesda stuff, you're probably in risky territory.
So you've been doing a game dev for a while.
Yeah. Well,
I know that we're doing this journal thing that I've been completely failing at.
Yes.
But
have I truly finished anything? No.
Oh, I thought you said you finished a...
Like, actually, yes, but this is where I'm coming to a point where I'm like, I'm getting old.
You're 25.
26. I'm getting older.
26.
I'm getting older.
True.
And I'm like, why do I keep, like... I always, like, belittle RPG Maker when it's the engine I had the most fun with. All the time. I'm like, oh, why do those morons use that? Why do those morons use that?
There's a lot of cool games.
And the funny part is, every single frickin' time, I at least go in there once to see what it's like again, just to remember what it was like.
So are we saying that we're switching to RPG Maker now?
Nope. I'm not going to say anything definitive because nothing is definitive.
Oh, I don't think... Just because you say it doesn't mean I think that you're going to do it 100%.
No, I'm saying nothing's definitive.
Then why are you bringing it up?
I'm just saying it's a mentality thing. I'm bringing up this mentality stuff where it's like you can think there's two sides of the coin. There's the side of the coin that wants to do something easy, and then there's the side of the coin that starts with the hardest project you could ever make.
Yeah. So you're saying there's an in-between.
There's an in-between that you need to be unless you want to spend years sitting down there and seeing nothing get done.
Yeah.
Like, even there is a point when there's a definition of insanity, in my opinion.
There is.
There's a point where you're reaching, I can do this. Or, to be honest, either this is what you got to do. Suck it up and expect the journey to be long.
Yeah.
And don't work on it every day so you don't die. And the second thing is also don't bite off more than you can chew.
Yeah.
Those are the two things I want to tell people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no. And it is insane to think you're going to be good at something right away.
Exactly.
And I know, like, people know, like, I know that, but you know what it is I'm lazy and selfish, and I want, and prideful.
You want that gratification.
So I'm like, I want to be good at this now.
With that instant gratification.
And I want people to recognize that I'm good at it now. And I want it to be now and not take much. That's like that's an impossible mentality. That mentality is completely wrong, and it might as well not even think about it or think it at all because it's false. That's completely false.
No, I agree with you.
Like that kind of mentality is like it is 100% impossible. You don't just get to do something and reap the rewards of what all the top people are doing just because you want to.
No, you don't.
It's why there's tons of people out there who are like, I want to be rich, but they're never going to be rich. I'm not saying that's a good goal. I'm just saying. A lot of people out there who are like, I want to be rich, or like super financially stable, but they don't do anything. It's like they don't do anything.
Yeah, they're like, it's also a narrow path, brother. It's a narrow path.
It's just the same thing of like, that's why there's so many there's only so many super successful people. Like, I'm not trying to sound like one of those guys on YouTube that's like, here's the steps to be successful. But for me, the first step is not thinking I'm going to be good at something.
Well, here's the second thing.
Because I'm not a main character in a show.
No, you're not.
I'm not. That's not because I whatever. I'm not even gonna put like stipulations on it. I'm just saying it's not because I'm the main character in the show. I'm not, dude. I'm not. I'm not someone in an anime who's gonna be like magically figure out. Whoa, this guy's sick at this. That's never gonna happen.
Also, for me, it's like you need that. I need, hey, dude. Tough it out, brother. Suck it up, Buttercup. Just stick with it. Stop giving up, man. Just stop being a baby. Like, stop being a baby about this stuff. Because you're constantly trying to, I'm saying, like, pussing out. Like, it's very easy to puss out.
Like why would you puss out?
I'm saying you have two mentalities. I'm saying, when I was bringing up the RPG Maker stuff, it's a mentality thing. You have two sides. Okay. You have two sides, and I got two sides.
I understand,
inside of
but
me.
what are you wussing out?
The one side that wants to puss out and be like, "Hey, I want to choose this engine that has everything done for me."
You mean RPG Maker?
Yeah, I'm saying.
I don't think taking RPG Maker is pussing out.
It is in a way because it's like, is that your real vision? Is what I'm saying.
I think it could be. Like, I'm sure there's more editing you can do, and I'm not trying to convince you to make RPG Maker, but I'm saying that like it's not bad.
It's not bad. It isn't. But it is
my thing with you is, what is your vision? Because it's changed like a bunch of times.
You know, it's funny. Every time even successful game dev teams, I've looked at people who have made massive games, and they've said for years they've switched so many times. It is ironically a common thing to have happen.
Do you know the guy who made Stardew?
Yeah, I remember him.
Do you know anything about him?
Not much about him, no.
He used to work at a movie theater as an usher while he was coding Stardew.
And I heard that's all he did was code that.
Yeah, because he got like kind of obsessed. But yeah, he was living at home, being an usher at a movie theater. Like, he's just a normal dude.
Yeah.
Who like made a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'm saying
Then he made Stardew. It came out and somehow it was huge. I mean, it's a good game.
Yeah, and it's not visually great. It's not.
Who cares about that?
Yeah, no, I agree.
And also, that's opinionated.
I think it's visually great, but
if
you have the graphics dweebs coming in.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's opinionated.
Begging.
Some people like that style of stuff.
Also, some people like just story games. Some people just like.
I'm just saying.
Just this.
I'm just saying that like. It's possible.
It is.
And like that dude made Stardew by himself, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm thinking in his head. With him, I'm like, dude.
His life changed immediately.
It did.
It's not about your life changing.
No.
I'm saying that like, I just listened to a podcast with him on it because I never heard him talk. He's just like a chill, like normal guy.
Well,
he's
here's
just like,
the funniest thing about
I used to just like work a crappy job and.
Here's the funniest thing about the Stardew Valley guy. I respect the guy, but I also think he's crazy because like he sat there, no team, bro. At some point, you should have had you could have had somebody backing you up. Like, there's a point where you're like. It's just like he sat there all day.
I'm not saying you have to do what he's doing. Like, He would do it like 12 hours straight. Like he was just doing it all the time. But that's just because he really wanted to do it. I don't know. He also did music before that, which I didn't realize. So he made that's how he made all the music. He made all the music for Stardew.
Which, dude, music. Let me tell you, as a guy who just tried to learn a song for fun, like I tried to learn the Lost Woods theme.
Yeah,
it's music is probably the worst.
I've tried.
It is, dude. It is straight up. Like, for me at least, it is the worst. Where I'm like,
no, dude. I agree. Like my immediate thought with music is like, first off, I don't care about learning other people's songs. I don't give a crap. I don't like. I want to make my own. If I'm making music, I want to make my own music. That's the fun part.
If you're someone who wants to make, it's the same with drawing. If you're someone who wants to like draw your own stuff at the beginning, you want to do it at the beginning, draw your own stuff.
Yep.
You're basically not going to be able to do it.
Yes, you're making.
And what's hilarious is I went in with the opposite mentality. Everyone in their heads was thinking, "Yeah, I'm coming in to draw my own stuff." I was like, I want to mimic things. I want to do it. Like, so many people would be like, "Are you crazy? You could make your own stuff. You know, the pictures in your mind you could have in real life.
Yeah.
You know, you could visualize it." And in my head, I was like, but I like drawing. I like drawing Batman. I like drawing Iron Man.
Not everybody's gonna.
I like drawing Spider-Man.
Not everybody. Some people do just want to copy and enjoy what they like. Like I would be doing because I want to make my own stuff, and I feel like most people think that
most people want that.
But you're right though. If you go in with being like, I want to make my stuff, that's you're wrong. Like you need to. What you need to go into is like you need to go in and be like, I'm going to learn this. And not worry about what your... But that's the thing is, that's a lot of time. That's what gets so annoying is like, this is so much time.
Bro, that 20-minute challenge thing that we had where we couldn't make any edits.
Yeah.
The fact that it was the most genius way of doing things because you were forced, you know, me and my brother, you were forced to live with the result. You were forced to live with it. Like, you were forced to be like, oh, this is how the drawing is. Can't add to it. It's over. It's done. Can't change it. Can't do anything. We had 20 minutes, sometimes more, to draw something.
You guys loved doing that.
And guess what? It was what it was. You couldn't change it. You couldn't say, oh, you know, I don't like the way his arm is or the way his leg is. Or
I guess I also just end up wanting to go to get good at stuff fast.
You're like, dude.
So it's like, so I will be like, I got to get obsessed. I'll be like, I got to just do this. And then I do kind of get sick of it in a way where you're like, okay, like I don't want to.
You burn yourself out.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. It's
my advice, honestly, I'm so glad I never had the mentality, and I'm not saying my mentality was better, but at the beginning it was. I never had the mentality.
Actually, dude, you've given me a lot of insight.
I'm glad I never had the mentality of, one, I'm good at this, and two, I'll do anything but trying to mimic stuff.
Well, yeah, that's good.
I'm glad I was just like...
Yeah, you did.
I was like...
and you were just like, look, dude, I'm bad at this.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I'm awful.
That's why everybody's like... That's
because
why
not only did I not try...
Most people are like, if you're not having fun, don't do it. That's why, because they're like, this is going to take... They're like, if you want to be good... Same thing when we listen to the people talk about YouTube and Twitch. They're like, if you wanted this to happen, you got to like it, because it's going to take a ton of time and nothing... It might not happen.
Yeah, if you wanted to start like stuff like that.
Well, but I'm just saying, it's not the same, because you're still kind of learning a skill,
well,
which is different.
Here's the funny part about it. It's like, I actually think in some ways, YouTube is very similar to that stuff where it's like, dude, if you're sitting there thinking about in your head, like, dude, how many views is this getting? Which you will in some way. But, like, to the point where you're
But not where it's going to affect what you're posting. Like, for you. Is
like,
what I'm saying.
where it's going to affect what you're posting. Dude, I'm like you saw with my podcast, I'm the guy who's like, if I don't have a good idea, I might as well not even bring it to the forefront. That's how I treat it. I'm like, I'm not even going to, if I don't think this idea is good, then I'm not going to do an episode until I have a good topic. Now, I'm trying to get out of that mentality in some ways to at least just try. But there are points where I'm like, and not only that, I got unlucky with, I got very unlucky with what I was doing because my camera had massive problems.
Yeah.
I couldn't even use it.
I remember because you've tried, yeah.
I couldn't use my camera. I actually tried really hard, but now I finally have a good camera that I need to start using just for fun. And the thing is, people, I wouldn't have gotten on YouTube if I was constantly thinking, dude, is this going to get 100 views? Like, I'm not thinking in my head, bro, I'm thinking, you know what? If this gets some traction, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. But if not, I mean, you can't even start. You might as well, like I said, it's like with, to sum this up, because we're already.
I don't care if we go a little longer.
I'm okay with going over it. But what I'm telling
just
you
because you were, that's kind of when I was like, hey, come over a little. I basically was trying to see if you would come over earlier.
But. Yeah, what I was telling you is, it's like with drawing. I was like, I might as well not even pick up this pen if I'm not willing to suck. I might as well not even pick up this pen. So I picked it up and I said, you know what? Who cares about my stupid feelings? Who cares about my stupid feelings? I don't even care anymore. I just want to draw.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. I want to do what the guys I like did. Because I was even looking at animators. I was like, Bruce Timm's real cool. The way he draws those characters. I love it. The way he draws that Batman. And I would look at art evolution and stuff and all that jazz. I'd be like, dude, I love how he's like drawing them differently here and here and here. It's like with game making. I had like two sides of me. One was where I was watching people like draw art. Mark Crilly, dude, the amount of hours I poured into watching his videos.
I've watched him.
And not even trying to be like him. I didn't want to be like him. Because I was like, that's not even possible.
Yeah.
That's like, if I wanted to dedicate the rest of my life to drawing, sure.
Yeah.
But I kind of I'm happy I reached a point where I was like, I like this. I like it. I like what I drew. Now, if I wanted to animate, this was something that's funny. Everyone's like, dude, just draw with the iPad. If you want to animate, you have to draw on the computer. You can't draw with an iPad to animate for a computer because it needs to be vector animation.
Yeah.
It needs to be vector. You can't move arms around. Like, I tried importing drawings from the iPad and moving them around. They will distort. They will not look good. I was like, oh, I just suck at drawing characters for animation. No. It's because when you drag a bitmap, it's going to distort and look terrible.
Yeah. So,
got a little off topic there and a little.
It's okay. So, I mean, we can talk about whatever, but that's interesting. That's a lot of food for thought for me. For like, yeah, dude, why even touch the game if I'm just gonna sit here and be mad?
Yeah, it's like
if you're gonna sit here and not be okay to suck, don't touch it.
Yeah,
because then you are just gonna be miserable.
Yeah, you're just.
And then it is a waste of time.
And it is going to be a waste of time.
So that's what I'm gathering from what you said.
Unless you can change your head, unless you can just internalize deeply that you suck. And I thought it was impossible with drawing. I was at a point where I thought it was impossible. I was like, oh, I'm never going to change my mentality on this. Drawing sucks. I hate it. Even though I watched drawing YouTubers a ton. I poured hours into watching them. I had a passion for drawing, clearly. I just didn't let it, shine. I didn't let it be its own thing. And now I'm drawing Shaggy like, what's new Scooby-Doo? I'm like, you know what? I like that. And that's the thing. Another thing, here's a couple things I want to say to people is, first off, if you're starting, you suck. It doesn't matter who you are. You're terrible. Unless you're like a prodigy, which is rare as frick. That's rare.
Yeah, I don't even yeah.
There's a point.
You're right, because I always say that too, but I don't even want to think that's not even the point. That it's irrelevant to us because we're not prodigies.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying.
I know, but I know.
I guess I'm saying it's
okay to say that. I'm just saying. I'm speaking out loud. Where it's like that is my problem. It's like I'm thinking it sounds stupid to say you think you're going to be a prodigy at something, but that's kind of why I keep bouncing around, because I'm kind of like, eventually I'm going to find something that I'm dope at naturally. That's not true.
Exactly. And you
are not going to find something that you're naturally good at.
That's what I was leading into. Is I was like, what I'm saying is.
Oh, sorry, I had to cut you off.
I was leading into it where I was going to be.
If I sound irritated, I'm irritated myself because I'm stupid enough to think that that's going to happen.
Well, this is what I was leading into.
Not prodigy, but talent.
Like what really I was leading into is the fact that it's like, how about you look at the people this is what you need to do. Look at the people who are talented and realize I'm so below, so down, so far down. I will never. That's what changed me. I will never reach that point. I will never reach that point, and I don't want to. That's what I said to myself. I don't want to, or else I'd be throwing the pen down and not doing anything. I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to anymore. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what made me actually get to it. I was like, you know what? I'm not Mark Crilley. Obviously, I'd never be Mark Crilley. I didn't even think I was going to be. This is what I did. I did something different. I took the Prodigy thing, the analogy, and I was like, here's an idea. I'm going to look at the best that there could be, one of the best, and be like, I will never be there. That's exactly what I went in. I'm like, it's impossible. It's impossible unless that's all I did every day. Every day of my life. So I was like, shove that out real fast at the beginning of the journey. I took it and I threw it to the side at the beginning of the real start of the journey. I said, nope, I'm not going to think that I'm even close to him. Not even close. Not even close. You couldn't even, the world would end. It's like, imagine in your head, the world's going to end. And you have to be good at something. And then realize the world exploded. That's basically how it was for me. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I don't care. I want to draw cool characters. That's what I was like. I don't care anymore. I don't care if I'm worse than all the people around me. I want to do it. And then Matt kind of, the reason why I even took that mentality is because we drew it for 20 minutes. When you have 20 minutes to do something and you can't make changes, you start to stop caring. You start to just be like, wow, it's just what it is. That's probably why people do game jams. Game jams basically force you to make games in a week or two.
No, I know. Those are cool.
Those force you to do it in a week or two because it's forcing you to be like, okay, if I make this, if there's bugs, if there's problems, I can't go back and look at it and be like, oh, correct this. What if this was different? What if this element of the story was different? What if this? What if that? When you only have a week or two to do something, it like lights a fire under your hide. Or you have 20 minutes. Even more so. That's exactly what got me into the habit. And then after that, I didn't realize in a way, I feel like he tricked me in a good way. He tricked me into being like, I suck, and I want to draw this character. I can do it. And you know what's funny? I do it differently. What's nice about drawing tablets is if an arm's too big, you shrink it. If a body's too big, you shrink it. I've had plenty of drawings that looked bad, and then I shrunk it, and it looked better. Because I thinned out the body just by using the slider thingy.
Yeah.
It's like molding with clay, where it's like you make a mistake, you can easily fix it. You just don't want to. You're just too lazy to be like, oh, I want to do this. I'd rather be good now. Be good now.
I know.
Be good now. I want to be just as good as the person I look up to. It's like, no.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like, man, it's not that I wish I was somebody else, but you're kind of like,
I wish I didn't suck.
You just gotta be. Wait, yeah. You're just so dead on with this, like in the sense of like, yeah.
It's like
I suck. I'm not gonna be wildly good at something.
No.
You flip flop as much as you want. You're gonna be bad.
Yes.
That's just the truth. You can flip flop as much as you want. You're gonna be bad. You're going to be bad.
Yes, you will.
That's a fact. Doesn't matter what game I'm playing, especially if I'm starting a new one. I'm gonna be bad.
Especially a new one.
I'm gonna be bad. I'm gonna be bad. Like, just face it. Get over it.
Yeah,
and get better at it if you want to, or don't if you don't want to.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna walk in thinking you're gonna be Mr. Van Gogh of painting, or whatever it is, or Bruce Timm of animation,
whatever it is, exactly,
or Mark Crilly of drawing, or any of those people.
100%.
No, you just gotta be like, I suck so bad. Yeah. I am the king of sucking.
Yeah.
You actually have to say that. You know how like every movie is like, you have to do the opposite. You have to look at what a movie tells you of how you're going to be.
Dude, I know it's
and walk to the other side of the aisle. And that's what I did. I looked at it. I was like, oh no, not this time. Not this time. I walked away.
Dude, that...
I looked at the aisle where I'm like, there's Crilly and all those people on the other. I'm at 0. I'm at level. Actually, I'm at level negative 100.
That makes so much sense.
I'm not at 0. I'm not at negative 10. I'm at negative 100.
Dude, because
I didn't try.
Yeah.
I didn't try.
Yeah.
Didn't even try.
Yes, you're not even like a baseline.
The words of Commander Riker, don't even try. If you're not, don't try.
You literally, too, like with the movies and stuff, that's like Hollywood, all that kind of stuff.
You're good.
Is like, like any kind of media is like telling you that we're watching actual main characters.
Yeah.
Which is a fictional.
Yeah.
Main characters are fictional. Characters are fictional.
Yeah, they're not like you.
But obviously,
some of them are just idealistic versions of people.
Yes, but I'm just saying that like you're not gonna. That's not what life is. No, you're not a main character. No. You're just a person.
Yep.
And you're in the world.
Yep. Just like everybody
else.
There's
you're not a hero.
No.
It's not that I think I'm a hero, but it's that same kind of complex.
It's the same complex where you're like, I'm going to defeat the dragon.
You're not even going to be the best. If I was in the world of Beyblade, I would be bad at Beyblading. If I was in the world of... Doesn't matter what world it is.
If I was in the world of any of those, I'd be dead. You'd be the guy dead on the ground and fall out.
I'd be the guy who's like... I'd be like the nerd who's like spectating and like wishing I was... I'd be exactly what I am now in that world too.
It's like you are... That's all you are. You're not,
Yeah.
I'm not saying Spider-Man is an accurate thing, but original Spider-Man was that guy, in a way. The actual book, he was not this idealistic soft boy who was really nice and got the girl.
Yeah.
He was an angry guy.
Yeah.
He was bitter with every single person. Yeah. Now, do I blame him in his circumstances? Sorta, yeah, but not like fully.
Yeah.
Because everyone hates him.
Yeah, but...
And he sucked. He lost to... Dude, he lost to...
Yeah, that makes sense, but he's still a Spider-Man person with superhero powers who's a main character in a story.
But here's what's
which
funny.
Is false.
I watched a book where he lost to, like, the lamest villains of all time.
I get it. Like, that it has a realistic standpoint to it to an extent.
Why is he losing to...
Which is nice.
Tweedledee or Tweedledum. I think that some of their names were like that. I was like, what the heck? How's he losing to Pastepot Pete?
Just didn't know how to fight super good yet.
Against a guy who shot glue. I was so upset about that. And like, wait a minute. That actually kind of makes sense.
It's just a matter of like, dude.
You're not that guy.
You're not that guy. That, in the words of the meme, you're not that guy.
Yeah.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy.
You're not that guy.
I'm going to walk in and I'm going to destroy.
Which is a good thing to think of it, because then you take everything less seriously.
Yeah.
And it, like, that doesn't mean... It's okay to take stuff serious, but there's a healthy way to take stuff seriously.
Yeah.
Like, there should be a level of, like, okay, don't take it too... There is a such thing as too serious.
I'm king of this.
Like, if you think... It's like...
Took what I did with... Just admit you suck like I did. Just admit you suck.
The guy who plays Pokemon... Well, his name's Wolfie. He plays, like, the Pokemon video game. Like, a lot. He, like, he's really good. Probably one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. What are we at, by the way?
We're at like an hour, 18 minutes.
18? Okay, not as bad as I thought. He had this video where he was talking about Pokemon, and so this guy is who Dr. Lupo cheated against. I didn't mean to bring this back to Dr. Lupo, but this guy had a very good statement where he was like, look, some people just aren't very good at losing.
Yeah.
He's like, I understand. Not everybody's good at losing. He's like, I play a very hard game, Pokemon. There's a lot. He's like, I lose most of the time. Yes, I've won tournaments. Yeah. Yes, I've won the world championships. I still lose most of the time.
Yeah, just because he's up there.
He's like, I'm good at losing. He's like, I pride myself on being good at losing. Like, I learn from it. I move forward. Like, he takes that as also a win because he can learn and move on. Like, oh, what I did wrong? Okay, let me correct that. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, dang, I don't do that at all. Not that if I lose, it's not like I'm not reflecting on my loss at all, but it's like the anger doesn't need to be there. This is the world champion saying he loses all the time. He's like, I go to regionals and I don't win all the time. He's like, I maybe have a 10% win rate.
Yeah.
At these regional tournaments of like winning first, and that's really high. 10%. That means he's losing 90% of them. Like,
and he seems like he's happy with where he's at.
He is. He's incredibly happy.
And that's the thing is like.
Well, he's also like had a lot of success.
But he's saying
in your mind, he's like, no one's going to be winning all the time.
Oh, agreed.
No one's going to be. He's like, in the game you're playing, if there's variance at all, you're not going to, like, there's.
No.
And even if there isn't, people could be hot one day. People could be locked in one day. Like,
some people can be terrible one day.
He's like majority of the people coming to a tournament. I won't not bring up tournaments because I'm like, I want to win tournaments. No. I'm just saying that as an example. He said the majority of people who go into tournaments, which is where you go to compete. So if I went to a tournament, I'd be like, yep, you're coming to compete. Like, you're here to compete. That means like you're going to lose. You're going to have to face loss in person, like that kind of thing. I'm just thinking about in that atmosphere. Wolfie's like, almost all those players who play and go to tournaments, maybe multiple a year, never going to win. They're never going to win.
Oh, no, agreed. You're you know what you actually are? You're Luke Skywalker in that first movie. You're the kid complaining about power converters. You're whining about the... Yeah. You're the kid, and he destroyed the... Here's the thing.
That's still making me a hero, which I am not.
No, listen. As impressive as that is, he lost most of his lightsaber duels. It took him years.
Yeah, true.
And you see him train, and he gets stomped.
To build up to that, yeah.
Like 80% of the time, he's being stomped, and then the 20%, he finally.
Yeah, true.
Finally, and then when he beats his dad, he notices he's like disturbed at how like angry he is and mortified. Now
that is kind of.
He was mortified how like angry he was at like. He was going to kill his dad, which I think in that moment, he kind of had the right to kill him.
I get what you're saying.
But in some ways, his journey is the opposite of a hero's journey. It literally is. Because Obi-Wan is the complete hero's journey. The guy transcends and goes to the afterlife for the Force people. Yeah. Luke's down here getting destroyed.
Yeah. Yep.
He only reaches his potential in comic books.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. But
it's the anti-hero
so he
journey.
was saying like you are 10, like most of you. So what he's saying is there are people who go and compete their whole lives, and this is the realistic approach. They go and they play, and I'm only using this Pokemon game as an example because that's what he plays. He's like, there are people who go to competitions their entire lives and don't even get top 20, top 50, top 80, top 100. Like, and they try. At least with some effort. So it's like, that's the reality of the situation. Yes. So instead of you thinking like, I'm going to be a guy who's going to win something, I'm going to be a guy who's going to compete with these guys at the top, which is not going to happen.
I'm at the top, dude. I'm at the top.
Which is not going to happen. It doesn't matter what game I flip-flop to. It's going to take the same. It does not matter what game I'm playing. It's going to take the same amount of work to get better at. I'm not saying that games aren't harder and easier. Yeah. But at the top, if you're talking about the very top, it takes a ton of work. It takes a ton of time to get better, to move forward.
It takes like decades.
So you can enjoy a hobby and enjoy playing something and be mediocre at it and not have to be...
You can be okay.
And even try, okay? You can try really hard and still be mediocre, and even that's okay.
Yep. And that's how I felt with drawing. That's how I felt with drawing. I was like, you know what?
That's basically what you said. You basically admitted to yourself, you suck.
Yeah, you just tell yourself, you know that guy at the end of the podium who's got all the drawing stuff?
Yeah.
Not even like the fame stuff. He's just good at drawing.
Yeah.
He's just good at drawing to the point where everyone's looking at it.
Yep.
I'm never going to be there. There are some people that are, and this is not saying prodigies, just prodigies. I can't even speak.
Yeah.
Prodigies. I'm talking about people who are
Prodigies?
I'm saying people who are just talented. More talented than you. Those guys ain't prodigies.
Yeah.
But some people are just more talented than you are.
Correct, yeah.
Our sister is more talented than me at drawing. I firmly think that is a thing that was in her. But I'm going to be honest.
I agree. She did she loved it, though.
Yes.
And put a lot of work in.
That I agree with. But there was a point where I was like.
But even she's really talented at that, and she doesn't do it super often.
No. And
you know what I mean?
And that's where I was like, this is kind of cool.
Because my thought was like, you could do stuff with this.
Yes.
Same thing with when she's making like crafty stuff. Where I'm like, you could like sell this
I was
stuff.
telling her that.
You could like make stickers.
Every time.
I'm not saying you do that as a living, but it'll be side cash.
Yeah.
Like,
and
she doesn't care.
I've heard her say she's actually going to try.
She has, but then she doesn't, though.
Yeah, and then I was thinking in my head, like...
That's not insulting her. I just think that she has other... I don't know. She's just doing her thing. She's not... I don't know that she's even worried about that, you know?
She keeps telling me she's going to do it.
Well, it hasn't happened.
Yeah, true.
And she's told me in the past many times that she was going to do it. Because remember she brought that sticker machine?
Yeah.
You know? There's just stuff she's done. It's not about that she isn't doing it. I'm saying that, like, is she sitting here worried? Like, I'm not doing it. She's not worried about it.
She doesn't have it stuck in her head.
She's not getting angry. She's not like, I want to be the best. She's not thinking about that stuff.
No.
She's just saying, I just want to learn how to draw, and she did.
And when I saw her doing that, I was like, that drove me even further away from drawing at the time. That time, everyone else did.
But she also was way ahead of you.
And then I finally, like when I didn't start, but then when I got the tablet, Matt just said, just do it, dude. He was like forcing me to do it. And I was like, thank you for forcing me.
That's interesting.
Thank you for forcing me to do it.
That's a good point. That's a very good point that you brought her up, though. Because she just drew because she... Well, it's like you with YouTube.
Yeah. Now, have I gotten to a point where it's like I've done it so much that like...
Yeah, of course. But I'm saying like you were never at any point thinking about like where's the end goal here? You're just like, I'm just making this stuff.
I was like, I'm making it because I want to tell people, hey kids, there's this cool game that you haven't played that's actually really good that the popular YouTubers say is bad. They're wrong.
Yeah, well, there's a ton of... you've made tons of different types of content.
That's true.
I'm just saying that, like, you...
Yeah, that's the content I like to forget about.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that, like, you...
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it, but it's like you never did it because you were like, I'm going to
get up to the...
You never had any thought, like...
No.
If you would have probably quit.
Yeah, I would have quit forever.
If you actually felt like how I feel towards stuff, you would have quit YouTube forever.
Yeah, I would have quit YouTube forever.
Yeah.
I would have quit forever.
Like forever ago, yeah.
I would have burned out. I would have burned out completely. And now I want to get back to the solo stuff. But when I want to do the solo stuff, the thing is, I don't want to put as much. The thing with me is, I've gotten to the point where I don't have to put as much time into it. That's one thing that's nice.
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm gonna say. I don't need to write a script. I think that's part of what held me back was that I always thought I needed to write down so many detailed thoughts. And what I do, the reason why I released stuff these days is because I just was like, I know so many facts about this that
yeah.
You don't need it. It's worse in some ways.
But when you were making YouTube videos all those times, obviously you were inspired by Tobuscus way back in the day.
Oh.
But I'm saying that's not the point. The point of the matter is you weren't comparing. I don't think you were comparing yourself to people at any point.
Was like, hey, I like this content.
Like you're not like, hey, I'm never going to be as good as this guy.
No.
You're just like, I'm just making my own videos.
No. In fact, I was more annoyed. I was more like,
yeah, but
I hate
why?
these guys.
Like you didn't. That's just kind of weird to me. You were like not weird. It's good. Like it's just odd that I don't know. It's not odd because people do it, but for me. To me, that behavior is odd because I don't even know how to be that way.
I was just kind of like, I was like, I like it. It's kind of cool. It's like how TV shows. It's like, oh, I'm producing something. I think that's kind of cool. That's how I thought.
It is cool.
I like being
It
behind
is
the
actually
scenes.
cool.
I like editing. I like it's. I mean, I have hundreds of videos to prove it. Even this one right here, which doesn't need editing. Thank God.
Dude,
this one's just.
Yeah, this is a podcast. This is something that we've done for.
Yeah.
A long time, and I'm not getting anything out of it besides we get to chill.
Yeah, it's the same with when I do my episodes for my stuff. I'm like, I'm making something. I'm kind of doing like a documentary.
I mean, it helps me that it's us.
When I'm doing my own stuff, what motivates me, even with the reason why I changed my content completely to like the Spidey cast and stuff, was because I was like, I want to kind of leave a thing for the kids to know what life was like a little bit back then. To know what life was like, to know what all the buzz was like back in the day when all the MCU started, all that crap. Gaming was kind of in a different state. It was a different time.
Yeah,
and that's part of what inspired me. Was I was like, I like the first game that really, that Mickey Mouse video that got so many views. I was like, in hindsight, that video, I don't like it.
Yeah, no, you said that.
Because I just think it needed more time, bro. It needed more time.
You definitely could have.
It needed more time. I think I went too far into the scripting thing where I got obsessive over, like, most people use bullet points but I got obsessive with like the scripting where I was like,
yeah.
And I think what I need to do, and I almost for episode 4 for this show I've been trying to do. Before I got the camera, I was getting super obsessive about like, got to add this much detail. Just turn the camera on, dude. You're not even going to do it. Add a couple bullet points and turn the camera on, dude. It's fine. You did that for the COD thing. You just wrote a couple bullet points, turn the camera on. You don't need to sit there. I need to remember what I'm talking about. It's okay to have some rambling.
100%.
It's a podcast.
But, 100%, dude. You don't.
I'm acting it like it's a
You don't have to
TV show.
Yeah. You don't have to
gotta edit all this stuff and.
People are. Some of it is that YouTube is crazy nowadays. Where like people have gone so insane with like the biggest production values and like everything crazy. With dumping all this money into it. I really do enjoy. There's something to be said about like just a chiller style of like YouTube videos that I draw. I lean more towards that anyway. But
I lean
towards
more
watching that.
Definitely the smaller guys, because for me, it's just like, dude. And I've seen the big guys. I'll watch them for a while. They start out small and have a normal attitude.
But with all this, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to derail what you're saying, but it's like, this is all coming from a question that we just veered off.
Yeah.
like so far.
This is how the show is.
So it's. Like your YouTube channel kind of is the exact opposite. Really, what I'm saying is you actually don't have the same issue, which is why I wanted to talk to you about it. All of this was because you don't get mad when you lose.
Yeah, it's because
you don't, or if you do, it's like more silly and not like, and you push past withdrawing. You admit to yourself you're trash so easily and move forward.
Yeah, I just said
like
whatever.
Same thing with YouTube. Like you weren't thinking about like this is trash.
No.
You're just like, I'm just making stuff.
Yep.
Like,
and I was like, I don't have a niche yet. That's what I was thinking, and I don't have a thing that I do now. That's what I thought at the beginning, and then when I finally, I kept pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to find it, and finally. After a long time, I finally hit it.
That's another thing is you kind of tried different stuff.
And thank God, with the Minecraft stuff, I just grew
part
out of it.
Part of it too is even with other stuff, you just get older and you settle into yourself.
I just grew out of it. I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. I have to, dude. Minecraft videos, I'd be miserable if I was still doing those because it's just like. It's like, same with playthroughs. It's like...
We're still not answering the question, Seth.
We did answer the question.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. I just didn't care. There you go. I lost the ability...
Keep talking about Minecraft then.
I lost the ability... the reason why I say that is... And I do want to continue with that because I think that is more important than me rambling on. That
is
the
talk about whatever you want.
But no, I'd rather go back to that because I was thinking about something I wanted to say. The thing is the zero to hero thing, dude. Don't be thinking zero to hero. Be thinking the zero to the normal guy. That's the thing. Like it's like it's
true.
like zero to hero. Like the song. It's like, dude,
That's
you're
true.
not Hercules, dude.
Yeah.
You're not Huncules. The girls aren't going to be fawning
I'm
over
not
you.
Huncules. That is true.
You know, you're not going to be
Chunkules, maybe.
Yeah, same here, dude. You're not going to be this, whoa, look at me. I'm king of the drawingscape. You know, I'm really going to make this. Half the time, I hate to break it to you, and this is the same. I'll even talk to game devs. Hey guys, I've watched game dev stuff, like actual documentaries. People are like, we basically never get our visions out the way we want them to be. There's budget cuts. There's problems. Microsoft, dude, Bungie, they were so bummed about Halo 2. They were so bummed about the ideas they couldn't get in.
A bunch of stuff out.
Yeah, they were depressed. They were like working sleepless nights in their booths, making a amazing game. I'm like, oh, this is the best game. Many people say this is the best game in the series. They're like, well, you know what? We think it's great, but we're so sad every time we think about it. We're so sad because we're like, we're building up to this finale. They didn't want to make Halo 3. They wanted 2 to be the end.
Wow.
2 was going to have the final part of like the end of that story was going to be 2. They wanted to like have this epic finale, but then they had to cliffhanger end it. And the cliffhanger was the best thing of all time. I actually think the cliffhanger outweighed the weight of the finale by 100, by a long shot.
Yeah.
Ironically, their vision of what was considered incomplete and not very good, like not good, but not what they wanted it to be. Ironically, Halo 2 is their best work.
It's their best work, yeah.
It's their best work because they poured their time into it, but they also cut so much out. They cut so much. Dude, do you know how many missions were on the table? 50.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying, though. That it's like they put out stuff that they were like, oh gosh, we hate this kind of. Not hate it, but they were like,
oh man, I wanted this to. It's so good.
So
but
even
I really wanted it
put
to
stuff
be
out, and we're like,
I really wanted this to be like. It's like, oh, we did real good on this game. This has some of the best story we've done, but we were so close to being like even better. And that's what was funny about it.
I want to.
There's a full documentary about them, like depressed. They were genuinely depressed that they saw that they couldn't get their vision. They're like, the pressure's on because Halo 1 was such a smash hit. So for them, they have to like deliver to all these fans.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, oh gosh, we got to get this done. We got to get this done. Clock's ticking as Microsoft's breathing down their neck.
Yeah, I just want. Yeah, I do want to say before we end that I apologize. I kept pushing you towards the same kind of talking about the same thing.
That's what this episode was about.
And I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to cut you off. Talk what you're talking about. I was kind of selfish this cast, and I apologize.
That's all good.
And I'm sorry for getting annoyed. But
yeah, it's all good.
I'm just lost in that scenario. I've been like dealing with this my whole life. I'm just like totally lost on it. So like any advice I can get, I'm like, please.
Well, that's my advice.
Especially because you don't have the issue. So I'm like, that's why I wanted to talk to you.
My advice, though, to sum this up. Oh yeah, sorry for cutting you.
No, you're good. You're good.
0 to normal, not 0 to hero, not 0 to
never gonna be a hero.
Not 0 to and creatives, not your vision. Your vision is not going to be what you're going to see.
Yeah,
you will never see your vision in your head. In some ways, it's better to.
Even people who have resources don't even always
Even
get
with
it.
resources, you can't do it because you're trying to reach like this goal and you have a deadline. Like I said, they were crestfallen.
And I'm like putting deadlines on myself. There's no deadline.
No, there is no deadline.
There's no deadline.
Think about how much more stressing for them it is. They have companies breathing down their neck and telling them, come on, hurry up. You got to do this. Get this done. Get this done. You're putting bread on the table, but you're also so passionate about this thing.
Yeah.
You want to make it the best you can for these people, and they're like so pumped for it. And you like deliver none of what you wanted.
Yeah.
Imagine how that must feel. You like release this award-winning game, highest selling game of all time, and in reality, in your head, you're like, that's not what I wanted to release.
Yeah.
That's not what I wanted to do.
That's so true.
And in their head, like, it was funny watching them as a kid. I was like, why are they so depressed about this? As an adult, I'm like, I kind of see where they're coming from, where they literally poured so much time into this.
Dude, I get it.
And they wanted to do so much stuff. I watched some of the cutscenes they did, like the pre-viz stuff. It's so insane they never would have gotten. With that technology, they never would have reached what they were going for.
Oh, okay.
It was too ahead of its time. They could do it now, but
now they don't own it.
Yep.
Anyway, people, sorry if I was a downer.
All good.
But I gotta get ready to go to work.
Yep. That's the real downer here.
Yeah. All right. God bless everybody.
God bless everybody.
See you next week.
See ya.